Hello, guys. Nice to see you.
Are we live?
Are we on?
Yeah, we're fine now. But we need a quick confirmation from the audience that we don't have any echo.
Echo.
Hi there, guys. Cheers.
Yeah, good. Yeah, we have some old and new friends in the chat also.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the season for podcast, I think, because outside right now we had 3 degrees.
Okay, it's perfect
storm
audio. Thank you for that, guys.
And rain coming sideways. So
yeah, this season
it's been really
terrible.
Yeah. So today we have an interesting guest.
Yes.
Quite long acquaintance for me, but new to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be awesome.
Yeah, you talked a lot about him, but we kind of like it's finally we get the chance to talk with him as well. Not only you, because you are all into this kind of navigation. We are more like sophisticated people, so we of course have some great questions.
Yeah. So the guest today, as announced, of course, is João Pereira. We'll call him John because it's easier to pronounce. I don't want to make more mistakes.
I want to butcher that name.
From best known for, of course, Drivemode Dashboard 2 and Thork Racing and all of that. So we'll bring him in and pick his brain and see who's the guy behind the invisible guy behind the DMD.
Yeah. So should we just bring him in?
Shall we? Yeah.
Okay, everybody, say hello to John. Hello, John.
Hi,
hello.
John.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, we're great, thanks.
Yeah, we're fine.
It was good.
We forgot
awesome.
one thing though. The glass. A little cheers to the audience and of course, John.
Oh, yeah, sure, with water. Then.
Yeah, but I'm only with soda. I'm on a water wagon as well, so.
Yeah.
It's good water.
Mainly Matthias that keeps up.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, so cheers.
Someone needs to keep the order. Cheers.
Wait. Oh. Yeah. So, John, we know that you are have something to do with the DMD2 stuff, but first we'd like to know more about you. You are in. Where are you currently?
In Portugal, in the north.
Portugal,
yeah.
So you don't have 3 degrees and rain coming sideways.
Well, we do have rain at the moment, but the temperature is around 40 degrees. So
come again. 40.
14.
Okay,
14,
Jesus.
sorry.
14. Yeah, that's rideable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rideable. I was riding yesterday. We did get some rain in the morning, but it was a good day to ride. It was a good afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah, is that something you commonly do? You go for rides often, or what's?
Yeah, I try to ride every Saturday, and then usually we will try to organize 2 trips per year. Which this year at least we didn't do any, but we usually do that stuff like the TT or ACT or those types of rides, like 3 or 4 or 5 days. That's at least the objective. But this year, unfortunately, there was no time for that. Yeah, It was a bad year for riding.
Yeah. It's happens and work happens.
Yeah, work.
I guess. What bikes do you have?
At the moment, I have Tenere 700, same as you, right?
Oh yeah.
Then I bought a CRF 300L or
Yeah, I'm looking-
350L, I don't know, something
The
like
Honda?
that. The Honda, yes.
Yeah, I'm looking into that as myself. It's
Yeah.
quite a nice machine, actually.
I don't know. I haven't touched it, the bike yet. But it's probably something, it's probably a bike that will fit right into the type of riding that I do. So yeah, I'm hopeful for that one.
Yeah, I hear the first upgrade people do on that bike is to upgrade the springs at least on the suspension. It's supposed to be quite soft.
Yeah, I noticed that. I just took it from the dealership to the office actually, and it's too soft. I already have a suspension like front and rear. I didn't have time to assemble it, so it's sitting there just as it arrived.
Yeah, in the box with a see-through window there from.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this year with all the work, it's been really not a good year to work on the bikes and to ride. Yeah.
Is that the naked version or the rally version?
It's the regular version.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the rally we only have the 250 version. And now I think this year we will finally have the 300. I'm not sure, but I think it's something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome.
So we'll jump around on different topics, I guess. But now we're out riding. I've never been to Portugal. I'm dying to go there. I have
me as well.
A few people I want to meet there also, you included, of course. So, but I hear it's awesome for off-road riding, adventure off-road style.
Yes, I think so. Although I don't have much experience outside Portugal. I know some places like in Spain, and I've seen mostly videos for other countries. But
Portugal in particular, perhaps you don't even have to go anywhere if it's good, because what I've seen, if I lived in Portugal, I'm not sure I would go to other countries either.
Yeah, we do have a lot of different places depending on the if you're riding on the north or the center or the south. I've done Portugal like from top to bottom. It's a place that I obviously know very well, but I do spend most of my time in the north. It's
is it better climate there, or is it milder or more humid, or how to say it?
You're talking about in the north?
Yeah, is the northern part of Portugal more humid or more green?
Yeah, if you go to the south, the more you go, obviously it will get hotter because you're basically going in the direction of the Mediterranean, right? So the more to the south, the hotter it gets. But for me personally, it's not even about the weather. It's the type of places that we have to ride here on the north. Like we have some really nice mountains here, like Gerês. We have Serra do Marão, and those types of trails, like mountains with forests and like rocky. You get all kinds of ground. I would say that probably the only thing that we don't have much in the north is like sand.
Yeah,
we don't have sand here.
But sand is no fun in any way. I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
But I've just brought up my the map on my iPad next to me here, just to have a kind of certain clue. And the only thing I actually know about Portugal, except of Lisbon, I'm not sure how you pronounce it in English. We say Lisboa here in Norway. I only know the big waves down in the south where people go surfing. The kind of like the pier with the really high waves. That's kind of like the only thing I know about Portugal, except like it's a good place to go for adventure riding.
Yeah, for adventure riding, obviously we have good laws which are very permissive for us. We usually don't get in trouble. We don't have many like natural reserves or places where you cannot ride. We do have some, but you can still ride almost from top to bottom. Like if you look at something like the TT, for example, you can ride from top to bottom and you are almost always off road.
Oh,
And yeah, and the landscapes, they change a lot, and I would say they are really great. They are really amazing.
is it allowed to wild camp in Portugal?
I would say so.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure because I don't usually camp. I think I'm too old to camp.
Oh, okay. So Matthias, you shouldn't camp at all.
So you go bed and breakfast then?
Yeah, I really don't have all the patience required to camping. Like just thinking about setting all up the bags and all that. Mm-hmm. I would get tired before the ride, and I would probably just
yeah. Well,
but I got a question here from Dragos, our friend down in Romania. What are the peaks or the mountains? How high are the regular mountains in Portugal?
No. I could probably look smart if I quickly Google that and reply. But I'm not going to do that because the honest answer is I really don't know. I would say, I don't know, like 2,000 meters maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have to Google that out.
But do you have snow in the winter?
We have snow in like I would say 3-4 places where you usually have snow. The other places are occasional, but it's very rare in Portugal to have snow. Okay. You have like the biggest mountain, which is called Serra da Estrela. I can check how tall it is. Yeah, 1,1993. Okay. So I missed that for 7 meters.
That's within the within the margin. So
yeah, I have a lot of friends that go to Portugal in the winters for some enduro riding, and they then like hire the bikes and also have a bed and breakfast included at the same spot and go from there. Is that do you know about that? Is that along the trail, so you stay at those places or other places?
If you stay on those places like Serra da Estrela, Jerez, those kinds of mountains, if it's common for us to do that, I didn't get the question. Sorry.
If you know about these places that rent out bikes and have a bed and breakfast at the same place.
Yeah. I don't know many personally, but I know that it's a growing business in Portugal, like that type of adventure touring. I've seen that the number of companies, and they are not even all Portuguese. We have some guys even coming from outside Portugal and establishing companies here that dedicate themselves into that activity. And I would say it's growing. And mostly because it's a good place to ride. The laws are good. You have plenty of off-road because Portugal is mostly the coastline. If you look at the map, like big cities, they are all on the coastal areas. So if you go like 30, 40 kilometers to the interior, everything almost is off-road. You have off-road everywhere, So it's a really good place to do that.
What did you just to kind of go a little bit further with all this, because most of us are most anticipating it's kind of like the DMD2, but I want to know a little bit more about you, because I heard a little bit of rumors from Robert that you had a lot of interest without riding or outside riding. What do you do when you're not riding and work on DMD2? What are your hobbies?
I always add a lot of hobbies That's for sure. The thing is, I really like to be good at whatever the thing I like. I think motorcycle riding has been the first thing where I'm not particularly interested in being good, like a fast rider or whatever it is to be a good rider. But for all my other hobbies, I've done like competition in sports. I've done like some racing with cars. I don't know. Yeah, but at the moment, I have to say that the only thing I have time is riding, because I have a 3-year-old daughter, which even if I have time, and that's the thing with small kids, when I do something, it's so I always get I don't know if you guys have kids or not, or if you know what I'm talking about. Maybe even you don't even need to have a kid for this, maybe even with your wives or girlfriends, I don't know. But when I'm doing something like riding, which is one of the things I like to do the most now, it almost feels like I'm I don't know how to say
have
this
a bad
in English.
conscience, or you feel like
yes, exactly, something like that. It's I'm doing something which brings me so much joy, and then I should be enjoying it, but then I start thinking, but I could be with my kid. I'm sure she's not very happy to stay at home without her there. And
I think that all of us struggle with the same things.
I know the feeling, and I see it in friends I ride with also. We are, at least me and Matthias, we're on the happy side of on the age level of kids. My youngest is turning 18 now, so I can just say that it will go away.
I know the term. It's feeling guilty. You feel guilty to be enjoying yourself so much, knowing that. On my case, my small one, she loves to play with me. She's waiting for the weekend to spend time with me, and then I go ride. And doesn't matter how beautiful the landscape is, how contemplating I am of the environment, how philosophical it almost looks like. I always end up thinking, I feel guilty for this.
Yeah, but I got the feeling that I'm when I'm going on a trip, I really miss being on a trip. And when I go on a trip and I start getting homesick after a couple of days, and you feel like guilty and you have to go back to the family, it just takes me a couple of hours home before I want to go on the road again. It's kind of crazy how this just always. So
I have like a 2 or 3 days rule there, because after those days I get over it and I only enjoy the trip after that.
But you said something else that resonated with me a little bit, because I felt that was that struck a chord at me at least, because but I feel it's mutual for everyone. That is that you want to be good at everything you do, and I feel like the same. I don't want to be the best, but I really want to make like for me, video is one part of one of my biggest hobbies, and I really want to be good at it, and I really want to invest a lot of time in it, because I want to kind of master it. But like you said, like motorcycling is the one thing I'm not so worried about being good at, as long as it gets me going on,
because it's about the ride and not the bike.
Probably, yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's my case for sure. The more I ride, the more it turns out to be about the ride, and less about the riding or the motorcycle or whatever. I do find that the company is probably one of the most important things. Who do you take with you? But it has to be about the ride, the places it takes me, the things I see, the new places I discover. And I came to terms with that. For me, I know it's that, but on the other things, like on your case, now you're talking about video. I think that I always have the tendency, and maybe you also have that, which is I feel like I over obsess about those things. Like
it sounds familiar, but I'm always trying to balance. When I feel like it's getting too much into an obsession, I try to take a step back and do something else, trying to get it on an arm length. But I know that I'm always going back to the same place, and I'm trying to be better, trying to find out a new way to do stuff. And but like you said, it's kind of like music in my ears. And
music.
When it comes to
also
music, I heard about a little rumor that you are into.
I can take that one, because whenever I'm on Discord, online, it says João is listening to Spotify, and if I click that, I can see what you listen to, and it's always pretty hard music, like metal stuff. So that's
It's not. I don't think it is. I have one of my best friends who also works at Thork Racing. He will disagree with you and say that I only listen to very soft, most of the times, proggy kind of things. So it's not that hard.
It depends where you come from, I guess.
But do you have a couple of favorite bands that you?
Yeah. I actually know where Robert is getting, probably, because if it wasn't for music, there probably wouldn't be any DMD2 or even Thork Racing, because the company started between me and a friend of mine, and it started because we were two bandmates for some years. We had a band. We had albums out and all that. So
so you are a musician as well. You played in a band.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I did. I don't anymore. It's another one of those things that I've just stopped doing, but I did for many years. And it's something that started with two bandmates, and we decided we want to work together because we were really good working together in music, and we were really good friends, and we just wanted to work together. This was not even our first business. We tried something else first, then we had both business at the same time, and then we really loved motorcycles, and the motorcycle business was growing so fast that we knew we couldn't have both business at the same time. So we opted for motorcycles.
That's a good approach, actually, because before you start a company, the really important thing is the company, the people that you do it with, and then you can come up with what you're going to do.
And it was actually my friend. You probably heard of him before. His name is Caesar. It's the person with whom I always ride. I never ride alone. If I'm riding with him. And back then, it was not even about any business in specific. Basically, we just wanted to work together, whatever it was. We didn't care about what we were going to do. We just wanted to work together. So and it's been a lot of years, and we keep having the same type of relation that we did when we were younger, like the how do you say, like the chemistry, the way that we did music. I think it still applies in today's in our business. He's good at some things, I'm good at other things, and we complete each other. Although this sounds like a marriage almost. No, it's not. It's
but
just
it's
business.
Sort of.
What an amazing approach to start in that way. Yeah, I really like it. We have a question here as well. Where comes the racing into the word Thork Racing?
Yeah, I was looking at that line and I was thinking, I hope they don't make me that question because there's no racing at all. We're actually we're actually two really slow riders. Like everyone in our, we have our small group, and then we have other guys that sometimes ride with us.
But we have to agree, everyone, that racing, adventure, and a couple of other names really sells. It's kind of like the way into marketing in a way. It's just the way it is in a way.
Yeah, I think because at the beginning, Thork Racing was something that I started mostly because I was doing some stuff with AJP, the motorcycle brand, which is they are in the same city as we are. We ride with them sometimes. We are friends also, and I was doing some stuff for them, and I think one of the first items I sold in Thork Racing was well, I don't remember, but I had one item which was an ECU for one of the bikes.
Okay.
And I thought that, well, this ECU will probably make the bike go faster, so let's call it racing, because maybe racers will want us. I think it was something like that. I don't remember at this stage, to be honest. It was a long time ago.
So how did you're out riding, and somewhere comes the idea for Drivemode Dashboard? What was that? Why start that?
No. It was not like that. I back then I was mostly doing local stuff with small bikes, 250 bikes on local places, which are really hard. We have really most of the guys, younger guys especially, they do like this extreme enduro stuff, and we actually started by doing that, like small bikes, lots of rocks, lots of climbing and falling down, and then we met Mr. Pinto, who is the owner of AJP, and he was doing the PR7. It was, I don't think it was released yet. There were like a couple of guys testing the bike, riding around the city with it. But when I saw the bike, he had like a tablet and on the display, and I noticed it was an Android tablet. And it was just a stock tablet. There was nothing fancy there. There was no special launcher, no special app. It was just a regular consumer level tablet with a bunch of apps installed. And I just told him, well, why don't you make at least some kind of launcher so that you can put maybe the AJP logo and stuff like that to make it look more integrated with the bike. That's how it started. I made an app for him for free, just because we were friends. I was going to do something really easy, like a simple launcher, a logo, some shortcuts. And it was an easy app. It took me like 1 or 2 days to do the first version, and I gave it to him. But then I actually bought one of the PR7s myself, and I started using the app myself. And for I would say 1 year or something, I was just developing the app for my own use.
Okay.
Not with commercial objectives or anything at all. It was just for myself.
But are you a software engineer, or are you self-taught in a way? Are you kind of, like you said, you made the app? Are you kind of in that line of work space or education?
I wasn't that much at the time. Okay. I think at the time, most of the code stuff I was doing was really not related to that. It was related to a laptop brand that we were working on, but nothing like user interface software or mobile apps or anything like that. Okay. To be honest, DMD2 was the first app that I ever did for Android. So it was my first attempt at coding an Android app. And although I can code, I didn't know Java, for example.
Okay.
So I had to learn. Yeah.
But is it easy to learn? This is kind of like a little bit of geeky stuff. But is it easy to learn Java when you know other coding languages? Or
yeah, I was doing stuff in C++, and at least for me, when I moved from C++ to Java, it looked very familiar, and I had no hard time getting used to it. It was actually the most challenging part of it. I would say it's not even related to the language, to the type of language. It's mostly like getting to know the Android ecosystem and all its rules and how it works, and those specifics. Those are hard.
Yeah.
You know, like even 5 years later, and the stuff that you learn first, and you think, okay, this is easy, I understand this. 5 years later, you will re-understand it and notice just how difficult or how unintuitive they can become in some cases.
So you have this app that you made for AGP as a gift, and then you code it by yourself. You started with a launcher app, but then somehow, because a launcher app is made just to have a neat way to have your favorite motorcycle apps in one place, but did you then feel that let's have a look at making a map and road book, and how did that end up in there?
Yeah. Okay, so how do I say this without sounding like an ass? Because that's what I'm going to sound like. This is the question I don't like to answer. But the reality is that I started doing this adventure riding kind of thing, and I had a launcher, but the point of the launcher was you could open an app, right? Another app. And I was expecting that obviously I'm going to use the best app. So I tried them all. And they are good apps, and there are amazing apps out there. But then when I tried to use them off-road, I could never enjoy, how can I say this? They didn't felt like they were, and they clearly weren't done for that use case, you know, like sometimes you want to hide a track, you want to change the color of a track, and we are talking about clicking a small menu in the corner and then going through 3, 4, 5 different menus. And I end up taking like 3 minutes to change the color of a track. And I thought, well, this is not working for me. Maybe I'm not a very patient kind of guy. I don't know. But I just said, well, why is this so complicated to do?
But I think,
like the simple things?
I think most people can relate to that, because we have, like for me, example, I use Garmin, and I have kind of adapt their way of doing it and their system. And for my adventure riding, that works pretty good. And I have tested a lot of apps, and I've been invited to try a lot of different things. And maybe I'm a little conservative because I have learned the way of the Garmin in a way, and that it's not perfect in any ways. But it amazes me that so many people put so much effort into all these apps and stuff, and I never seem to get it right. It's always something that it's buggy or annoying, or it's just like out of all of them, for me and my use case, kind of Garmin has been the one that has less problems, but still it's not perfect. And then I saw Robert and his videos about your stuff, and it's starting to, okay, this is starting to go in the right direction of what we as adventure riders need. But the guy at Moscow Meetup, he said that kind of an interesting thing. Remember that adventure riders are kind of a small niche compared to everyone that rides a motorcycle. And that kind of hit me in a way that even if we want something designed for our needs, it's still a really small niche compared to all the others who probably could use the app. Have you thought about that?
It is, and if I wanted to make a living out of the app, I would have stopped and abandoned the project a long time ago. I've conformed myself to the fact that the app will never be profitable. You cannot.
That's interesting.
You cannot make profit from such a niche market. Although I have to confess, I never spent time or money into marketing because I never felt like the app was at the level that I find like the minimal required level for me to say, okay, at the moment for adventure riding, I think this is the best I can do. Not I can do, because I don't care of in those terms, but I need to think the app this is ready for me to call it, okay, this is the best solution for adventure riding, for a motorcycle use. And when I get to that stage, I will try some marketing and see if the numbers change. But app sales, they are really slow, even I can tell you I have 150,000 users. Sounds like a lot, right? But you have to remember that from all those users, probably 30% are paying a subscription, maybe less than those, and with a €18 per year subscription, that's nothing. It would be a really hard living just if it was for app sales.
Is there any idea of getting into the business for the larger rallies in the world when they go digital from where they are now?
Talking roadbook stuff.
Yeah, talking roadbook. Yeah.
It's even a smaller market. If you try to make something for all adventure riders, then I would say the market is small, but maybe you can pull some numbers that will allow you to have like a 2-3 guys staffed, 3 developers, and all of them making a fair amount of money. They will not be rich, but they will be okay. But if you focus on rally, then you have to do it like, unless you find the magic solution, but like the magic solution, you would have probably to make, you would have to make deals with event organizers for them to use your app. You would not make money from the users, or just a small amount. You would make money from the event organizers. But that's a risky business, because tomorrow they decide to use another app, and then you've created a business around that, and you are going to get broke.
But Björn in the chat asked if it's ever ready for iOS, and we see a huge number of iOS units out there. It would never be,
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, because I don't think we will ever grow to the level where I would be able to spend those levels of money. Like I cannot. I would need a team, and we have to understand that most of navigation apps, they are done by teams, and we are competing with teams of people. The smaller apps, maybe they have 20, and then it goes from there, 20, 30 people, 40 people. And I'm talking about apps like OSMN, Locos, all those apps that everyone knows. All of them are done by teams. I don't think there are many apps done by a single software developer, which was the case with DMD2 for most of the time. It's not anymore. Now, at least I have someone to do the UIs, a designer, which thank God, because I suck at doing those kinds of things, and
Yeah.
And again, it's one thing that I've learned is that I don't want to do anything that no, I don't want to sell anything that I know like someone is doing something better. If tomorrow someone is doing the same type of app, just like DMD2, same concept, same philosophy, and is doing a better job than me, I will not want to continue DMD2. You know, like it's an amazing thing to see someone doing good craft. You know, like when I see someone doing a painting or playing an instrument, it's awesome when someone is good at what they do. So if someone wants to do this and it does a better work, I will probably be a user. You know, I don't want to do that.
So I think you're a little bit humble about this.
You're hard on yourself and humble. And I would actually like to turn that around, not when is the DMD ready for iOS. I would like to ask, when is iOS going to be ready for DMD? Because you are stuck. I mean, with Android, you have all the different devices, and you can find suitable devices for DMD. But with iOS, you have the iPhones.
Yeah.
Only. Is that
Give
the
me just 1 second. Just 1 second.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. We have time for that.
Yeah.
It doesn't get more real than that.
This is important. This is important to show actually, because he gets to ride every Saturday, hopefully. Oh, what a cutie!
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
She speaks English.
Oh, she does.
Hello.
Ah, cool.
Hello.
All right.
That's so brilliant.
How cute is she? Takes off
I did
her
warn
mother,
you
I
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always nice when the kids are interested in what you're doing. I think that is a really good thing. Yeah.
Before we get into the future, I'm really curious about who is the typical customer for the DMD2, the typical ad writer, or
Well,
you have an idea of that?
I would say anyone doing adventure rider is a possible user for DMD2. Again, it's being done from the perspective of the rider. So in that sense, it's probably the only app that I know of that attempts to do everything as convenient and as adventure guided as possible. Like I have these kinds of rules where, like, if anything seems hard or complex or annoying when you're using it on your at home or at your desk, when you are riding, like on the second or third day, that something that was just a little bit annoying will become a nightmare, you know. So like I want everything to be like maximum 2 or 3 clicks. Anything that you would want to use on a ride, I want it to be 2 or 3 clicks maximum. Like if it's settings and customization and all that, I can put all that in menus. But if it's stuff that you are actually going to use on an adventure ride, I want it to be like 2 clicks. And following this philosophy and the fact that it works with Handlebar controllers, the fact that you have topographic maps, lots of options for GPX files, which is what we use the most. I think anyone doing adventure riding could use it. You know, if they have a proper device that can handle the riding, and there are options, like more options for that.
But that is another question,
every day now,
to be honest, because the units itself, I have had some experience with, of course, the smartphones, but also the tablets, and now, of course, the different Garmin units. And it's kind of, a lot of the units are quite poor. in a way. They kind of don't do the charging really well, and it some doesn't do water very well, and the sunlight on the screen. It's kind of a device that need to do a lot of things really good to be a good device. And for me personally, the Garmin units, the newest Garmin units, are the ones that have been closest to a good experience in the viewing perspective. But as I could understand from Robert's latest video about this, that you are bringing out 3 devices that you're working with. Is that your devices, or it is a brand you are cooperating with?
No, we are. This year we moved DMD to a more navigation, full solution kind of brand, where obviously. And we're back at what I was saying before. If software is not where you make the money, you still have to make the money, right? So it has become obvious for us that the main product is actually the hardware.
Okay.
Right? It's where it's easier to make the money, and we were already selling stuff like Handlebar controllers, tablets to use with DMD2. We are selling now with our brand. We are selling like even brackets, OBD dongle, because a lot of our users use it. DMD2 has this OBD. It integrates with OBD. So
you can read out the engine numbers and so on.
Yeah. So we had this plan to be able to, until the end of the current year, to be able to offer like the full range of products, devices in different sizes, handlebar controllers, OBD connector. Dongle in this case, and handlebar controllers. So this is why this year I also didn't ride, and I haven't slept much probably. It was a tough year.
That is understandable, and I'm kind of blown away by sitting here talking with you and you telling me about. It's so easy to forget that there's one man who actually behind all this, all the ideas, all the stuff that the work is done. No, but not only one, but
not one. No,
but you kind of. I speak with one of the guys, and it's kind of impressive to see that. And the one thing I think that is a really, really great way into all this is the way with the dongles, that you can have your unit on your bike, and you can just bring a dongle and a screen to a rented bike, like Robert did in Africa. I think that is, like, for my Garmin unit, if I want to take that with me on another bike that I rented, I need to have a lot of extra crap and put it onto the battery. And it's a much more, hard way to high wire that system on the bike. And you're not sure if it can fit on the handlebars or, So, but I understand that you have a solution for all the device that it can mix it all over in different dongles. Is that correct?
In regards of devices, we simply have 2 sizes.
Okay.
One is a tablet size. The other one, it's a phone size device, which on a case like that one that you were talking about, obviously a phone size device will work better. It's easier to snap that into an handlebar. You can power it by USB, not USB into the device, but the actual cradle it can be powered then by USB. Those 2 devices were launched, I would say, around March this year. So they are our first 2 attempts at doing, not our attempts at doing a device, but it is our first work with a manufacturer, right?
Okay.
Obviously, we don't manufacture them, which I don't know how this still amazes some people when they find out that we don't manufacture them ourselves. Obviously, they don't understand. Yeah, it's all about how well or how good is the manufacturer at the end of the day.
I have two questions more here. What is the most popular feature by the users on these tablets, and what is the most asked for feature that they want?
You mean from the hardware side of it or from the app?
No, you could say both, but I was more thinking about the software.
DMD.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, recently one of the most asked features is something that I really hate. It's something I wish no one would ever use, and I wish I didn't have that on the app, which is the ability to convert a GPX track
to
into a that's a no-go because
why would you do that?
Yeah, and the issue is I don't think users understand what they are doing. And
because I see this a lot in other forums as well. Oh, it cannot turn a GPX, or it turned a track to a route wrong. And I just, go figure. Of course, a track, it's so many more points and so much more accurate than a route will be. And the route will be something that the software on the device created out of some kind of rules that you set accordingly. So
exactly.
Yeah,
you have the rules and you have the map source.
Yeah, of course, so that as well.
Even if someone makes this beautiful track that goes through some amazing place, like it crosses a river and stuff like that, if that's not on the map source, the app will never route through there.
Of course,
so it will find an alternative. And then what happens, and that used to happen with my group. They now all use my app, so it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen anymore. But I had guys who had they were using Garmin. By the way, I never used a Garmin. I don't know how they work. I never used one. I have no experience with Garmin. But I know that there was this option where when you loaded a GPX file, it was automatically converting to routes.
Yep.
And I noticed that it was usually those guys with Garmin, because they had that setting on, who would always get lost. And they will always say, that we would call them, and they will say, well, I'm on the line. And we will say, well, that cannot be because I'm on the line. So how can you be on the line? And obviously their line was different than our line.
I was just about to say that, actually. You should be happy when you get that request, because it means you converted another man from Garmin and have a new customer.
Yeah.
Because
but it's like that with all apps, actually. It's not just Garmin. It's like most apps do it like that. They convert a route. But here again, we need to remember that Bob on a bike, or what he calls himself on Instagram, he said, remember that how many people are riding Harley Davidson from Starbucks to Starbucks, and how many people are riding BMWs through city. And with those maps and those riders, route by route with the direction into the comm system is kind of genius in a way. We have to agree that getting the directions without having to look in the map, but that you can argue again, do you even need a unit for that? You can just use your phone or a small dongle. But again, the adventure market is small.
And DMD2 does that. We have route calculation and voice instructions.
Oh, you have that?
Well, yeah.
Because
I'm not sure they are
correct.
Brilliant. Yeah. I can fine tune the calculation profiles.
Oh,
but,
can I have a request here from the app? If you get Matthias to be the voice of the people who tell you to turn right or left, I would buy it.
Well,
that would be awesome.
I would love to say that it would be an easy task, but even if he agreed to that, it would be a really hard task, because usually you use something called text to speech, where the system can convert text to speech, so it makes it easier to add voice instructions. But yeah, maybe one day if I can make like sound packs with different voices, maybe we can do that.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing to talk with you about this. I'm really interested. I'm really into all this stuff. I'm really intrigued by how it works, and I love to plan out my routes. I love to use different software on my computer before I go on a trip, and of course, using my devices on trips as well. So yeah, I think it's really cool.
It's about the devices as well. I've seen them a couple of times and tested them as well. What is the future then, Joe?
Well, the future at the moment is establishing the brand both as software and hardware, because there's no way at least I haven't found a way to make it work only with software. So and again, it's this has always been a problem for me personally from the start, which was the fact that you can make a really good app, but if there is no good device for the app, then the app becomes a bit pointless, right? And you can have devices that will run the app and they will do their job, but if this wasn't a live thing and there wasn't anyone listening to us, and someone asked me what is a good device, I would say none. You know, there's no good device at the moment, at least not for my standards, and my standards are not even that high. I think that for this market to work, for a good navigation solution, besides a big manufacturer like Garmin, who could probably do hardware at this level, for a brand like ours or any competing brand that comes up and tries to do the same, I think the issue is always going to be having enough sales, enough power to convince a manufacturer to actually do the hardware that we need. And I say we as a rider, because it doesn't exist. You know, there are some who are close, but none is perfect. And I'm trying to get there. And we have something which is very valuable for us, which is the amount of users that we have. We have a huge community, a lot of users, so we can put numbers, we sell a lot now, so we do have some power over manufacturers. It's easier for us if we show our numbers, how much we are selling. It's easy for us to convince a manufacturer to do what we want and how we want it. But the perfect device for me, it doesn't exist yet. But for years, I only been asking for one thing, which is one single manufacturer that will say, "I'll do it." That's all I've been wanting for years, you know. And
and if I'm that manufacturer now, I'll do anything you want, John. So what are the requirements?
Well, if I was the regular DMD2 user that you see on our group, you usually get nits. It's nits. Oh, it's always nits. You know, I've actually wrote an article about that, about the challenges of making a good device, and it's not just brightness, obviously. You know, it's the charging system, it's the power delivery system. It's being able to handle high vibrations. It's waterproofing, good GPS system. There is a big list of
there's a good mix of things that need to work together to make a good device. I do understand that, because and you have big companies like Apple, of course, who makes the really great phones, and they are not even perfect because they have their flaws, and they are million-dollar
don't work
companies.
On a motorcycle.
Yeah, not for motorcycles at all. But do you see AI in the future of this? Can you use AI to your to ease the workflow, or can you use AI to make better products? Can you see that in the future?
well, in the software department, maybe. On the hardware department, I really don't know. It's not my area. I'm good at telling you what I need. I'm not that good on telling you how to do it. So I have no idea if AI is something hardware manufacturer would use or not, you know. But in software, I haven't found any use for AI, but we do have another project for the future. We have a project that we are working on that could probably benefit from AI. We are building this type of platform where you can. Well, there are probably many other platforms like this, so obviously we'll try to make it. We are not going to try to make it different just to be different. We are simply going to try to make it work in the way that it integrates perfectly with DMD2 and with our vision. Because in this case, it's mostly about our vision for what such platform should be. And it's basically something where you can have an account, you can then manage your GPX files, you can create your rides. It uses exactly the same off-road profiles as DMD2 app. So you can create your trips there in a web browser.
Oh, brilliant.
And then you know that when you open the app, it will everything will be in sync, right? Yeah. So we are adding all types of tools. There will be space for riding communities, event organizers. It's not me coding it. It's a friend of mine, an American crazy dude called Jason. I'm sure he's listening to us, and he's been doing an amazing job. He's very passionate about this. He's a big fan of Robert also. Yeah. And he's doing well, he's online actually. I can see him in the chat.
Is that Averix ADV?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
it looks like that.
It's going to be a really good addition to the ecosystem that we are creating. And then there are new stuff coming up also in the hardware. I think that the mistake that this manufacturer did, not sure if it's a mistake, we had a meeting with them actually here in Portugal, and they said they were open up, not just to meet our requirements in terms of device, but they said they were open to develop or to manufacture anything that I wanted or that we wanted. Oh. And I think that was a big mistake for them, because now like I spend most of my days talking with them. I want this, I want that, I want like a tracking.
What have we done?
Yeah, they actually said we were scary. You know, we are talking about a manufacturer telling like, these guys are scary. You know, like for us, we have lots of ideas.
But on that topic, I have a question, because I thought to myself, when you said that screen brightness and nits, especially at least for road books, wouldn't you think that e-paper, do you know what I'm talking about? It's not backlit at all. It's this, I've seen it on tablets. You can write, it looks like just ordinary paper, but it's digital and you can work with it. And I thought, at least for road booking, that would be awesome, because it's,
it is for whole book.
Yeah,
you know,
but
again,
but it would not be possible to sort of have the app and map?
No,
like that?
No, it would be extremely slow. It is slow, and the lack of color depth also would probably be an issue. And I don't think you need that. You know, there are technologies out there. And again, I think that most people don't know this, but the only thing that we need is actually, because no brand, you do not expect any brand to come up that can take a niche market and create the perfect products for us. Basically, we need manufacturers to look at this market and say, we want to do the products for that market. There are one big brand or a couple of brands or whatever. There is enough market, so I want to do it. And until we have that, which again, I think I do now. Let's see how it goes. But without that, you will never have good hardware, And if you have a manufacturer that really wants to put the effort into motorcycles, then there is no limit. You can do amazing pieces of hardware. Like we are trying to do the next generation, and it has everything, at least on paper. It's going to be amazing. You have expansion modules, which is something rather unique on the device. You can attach a module, and now you have radio tracking system where you can see everyone on the map, the thing from Garmin. I think Garmin has something like that. And you can create really nice hardware, controllers. Well, I'm not going to say what the rest of them, because then someone can copy them.
That's not necessary.
Some of them I cannot talk about it, but there is no limit if you have a good manufacturer willing to do that. If it's being done from the purpose of motorcycle riding, it will work, because it's not that hard.
But do you
and the technology exists to do it. It's not alien hardware.
No, but I do think that if the market, like the niche for adventure riding, is quite small, is there any other market that are similar to what we do? Like for me at my work, we use a tablet with most of the apps that we could use for motorcycling. We also do for rescuing people in the mountains, for example.
He's a fireman.
And can you take one niche market like adventure, and you can do small adjustments so you can reach out to maybe bicycling or rescue services or DJI? I'm not sure. I just think can you develop something that could be good for others but would be perfect for motorcycling?
Well, it works backwards. Like if it's good for adventure riding on a motorcycle, if it's good to stick on a motorcycle and handle water and high vibration, it will probably be good for everything else.
Okay, so that is kind of the hardest.
Yeah, I don't know any other thing than that, because it's especially water and high vibration.
Interesting.
It's a tough one to beat a motorcycle, especially when you put that on a rally tower or on bikes like mine and Robert, the Tenere 700, which has that, well, not his, because he has a tower now, but the stock tower that vibrates a lot. Like you have old 450 bikes. We have a client with a KTM 450 that it shakes so much that we've made already 2 revisions to our tablet, and it still manages to break it. The vibration managed to disconnect the connector, and
get the new bike.
No, it's a good thing for us, because we want to reach the stage where this doesn't happen, and the fact that the manufacturer is willing to do revisions on the hardware to improve that. We are already on the 3rd one. Hopefully, the 3rd one, we won't have that problem again. But if we try to simulate this bike with a vibration thing, it's scary. The amount of power that you need to put on the device to cause the same thing. And he managed to do it with his bike. I don't know why, but it does. So it's a tough thing to beat. Plus direct sun, where the tablet can get wet. Yeah, it can make condensation. There is a lot of issues on a motorcycle. Yeah. But again, it will be, if it can handle adventure riding, a motorcycle, you can use it for boats. You can use it, if it's a small device, you can use it for mountain bikes. You can use it for hiking. You can use it for like those cars, like
the ATV or small
ATVs,
buggy.
exactly. You can use it for all that, but the tough one is, at least that I know of, it's a motorcycle. Yeah, adventure
That's quite
riding.
Interesting. I didn't know that. That is new for me. Nice to know. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what sold it for me, the reason I just jumped on this a few years back was handlebar controllers, because it's not on the device how tough they are, but just the fact that you can control the device or the app from the handlebar is I cannot ride without it anymore. In Africa, actually, I brought the nav phone, and I didn't have the handlebar controller, and I was completely naked, and I had to do that again.
Yeah.
So
it's one of those things that if you never add one, you won't miss it. If you have one, you will never be able to use, most of the guys that I know will agree with this, probably not all of them, but most of them. If you already have one, then you cannot ride without it, because you get used to it. And again, this is one of those things that for me was quite natural to make the question when I first started riding my PR7 and I started using navigation apps. My first problem was, okay, these apps are not working for me off-road, so I did mine. Then I was trying mine, doing like the TT Portugal I did it for like a week or something. And it was like on the third day where it was obvious, like, okay, I will arrive home and I will buy like an Handlebar controller for motorcycles to control navigation apps. In my head, this is obviously something like this exists. So I get home, I try to buy one, I try to search online, and no, it didn't exist. There was nothing like that back then. And it blew my mind, like, well, this doesn't make sense, because there are motorcycles with buttons on it. There are people doing roadbook, which is also a button. So how come there is nothing like a controller to control a navigation app? And back then, I immediately started developing my own. Again, for me, on this case, there was an exception, because there was actually already one guy doing it. And we were introduced, we started working together, and he started dedicating himself to the hardware, and I started dedicating myself more to the software, and things worked really well between us for some years.
Yeah, but if I get you correctly, you don't deliver this DMD2 on Carpe, the tablet, anymore?
No, I don't.
No, okay.
No, and then again, it was a good relation for 2 or 3 years, I think, that we worked together. We started almost from nothing, basically. Yeah. There was some interest in DMD2 because I was also part of the TT. I was doing also the TT app when I started promoting this app with controllers. So that probably gave me some traction. But I think what sold the app and the controller back then was that it just made sense, like it makes sense. You are on a motorcycle, you are using a navigation app, you are, everyone will identify with having to stop to adjust the zoom, having to stop to click the follow button, having to stop to load I don't know, there are many things that you do, and it just made sense back then. So obviously that helped a lot. And yeah, we had a good time, but eventually the business. Not because I don't think it was anything personal, but it was mostly, well, I'm sure it wasn't personally, but or it wasn't about numbers or probably anything that people may think. I don't know what for sure. It was just the vision of the business that both sides have. Like DMD is DMD and Thork Racing, and then you have the Carpe hardware, and the business decisions and the way that Carp looked at the business part of it was not compatible with ours.
Yeah,
and
completely understand.
Yeah, and you cannot force.
Yeah, you can't force those things. It's either it match or it doesn't match. It's just easy like that. Yeah, you have to be honest, and everybody have to be grown-ups about this.
Yeah. All right. So to round off, I guess since we're over time, DMD2 is in beta. Will there be a gold edition going live? I mean, the first released version.
Well, my original plan was to release this in the end of this year. But again, this is not just about me. We are a team. We are, at least in Thork Racing, we have really dedicated people also making these decisions and helping me out and planning. And now with the hardware, things also get a bit more tricky. So our original plan was to have everything ready until the end of the year, like a full line catalog where you have devices, controllers, OBDs, and the app, everything ready by the end of the year. And I was actually taking some time off programming starting on January so that I could spend like 2 or 3 months without doing any type of code and just do fun stuff, like still work, but fun, like promoting the stuff, videos, pictures, improving some stuff in the websites, manuals. That was the original plan. But we will probably release the app a bit earlier. A bit, I don't know, like in, I would say 3-4 weeks from now, we will move the beta version to production. Because at this stage, I'm just adding stuff. It's stuff that I can add on production level updates. There's really no point in keeping it on the beta level. There is just a couple of things to finish, and then I will release it. Yeah.
I was actually waiting for him to say, "Oh, maybe the summer or maybe next year again," and then he said, "No, a couple of weeks." I was, what? that was a good twist at the end.
The only thing stopping me for releasing it at the moment is the portrait layouts, actually.
Oh yeah,
like
when you turn, yeah.
When you turn, we have a lot of requests for that. Makes sense when you are using a phone, especially. I understand that, but again, it's not as simple as people think, and especially when we are talking about layouts, design. Like I can code you the most advanced function, like something that will almost sound impossible. I can code it like in 5 minutes. Sometimes, other times I cannot code it probably, but I've done some amazing stuff really quick. I know I'm fast developing functions. When it comes to UI, if I show you some of my stuff and tell you, well, this took me 1 week, that's and then I ask my designer to do the same, and in 5 minutes he will do something better, and I will scrap everything that I did. and I will get depressed and yeah, but yeah, unfortunately it doesn't work full time, so I cannot just expect him to be ready 24/7 for me. So in this case, he's still working on some stuff of the landscape version, and I'm going to have to try my best to do the portrait, and then maybe in the future improve the portrait version. But yeah, I expect 1 more week for me to finish this, and then I will release it. Yeah.
Cool. Really
Very
cool.
good. Yeah, really looking forward to that. And yeah, I hope.
Great.
I wish you all the best, because
absolutely.
If you succeed, then then I can use all that stuff, because for me there's no other system. So as you know.
Yeah.
And you probably will get 2 another customers as well in a short amount of time if this keeps up.
Yeah, we are really happy with the results, right? Like, I might sound sometimes a bit not so optimistic, but results wise, we are really growing with great numbers, especially in terms of sales, and we will be able to do some new hiring next year, which is what I really need the most at the moment.
And your family.
Yeah, we need more people to grow the project faster, but we also need a new building to get that people there, and that's probably going to happen next year. At least we are working on it. So
Dragos is asking, so what do? We uninstall the beta and install the production version, or is it just a regular update?
Yeah, it's always the same app. Like, there is no difference between the production and the beta. The only difference is that on Play Store, you have the ability to join beta and leave beta. Okay. If you join beta, for example, if he's using the beta at the moment, he's already in the beta program, which means he can stay on the beta, and you will still be bombarded with like these almost daily updates that we release. We release updates for the beta channel like daily, and sometimes he needs to know that it's not a finished product, so we will release stuff that's going to crash, or it's going to not work as maybe users expect. So he can stay on this beta and have the latest things, or he can leave beta. He will stay on production. It's the same app, but he will only get the updates that we consider stable. And this is the same with all software, I think. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's similar with all the others.
Yeah,
but now we are going into 1.5 hours, and I just want to say that we could probably talk for this for another hour if we really wanted to. But I think I just want to say a huge thank you, and I was really looking forward to talk with you. Robert had said so much nice about you and the system, and I'm quite intrigued, and I really want to take a closer look at this in the future, without a doubt.
Thank you.
And when Thomas is a Drivemode Dashboard guy, it's then it you can stop working. The goal is met.
Yeah, if you can turn me, I'm quite conservative when it comes to stuff like that. So if you turn me, then you have. You're
a Garmin user, is that it?
Yeah, I've been using Garmin for many years. It's not that I'm in favorite of them in any way. It's just like I really enjoy them for my workflow. And I kind of adapt to their system, so it's kind of easy for me to use it. But I'm always looking for options if there's better ones out there. If anyone could make a better system, like you say, if anyone can make something better that makes my life easier to do and do what I want to, I'm all over it.
Okay, I
will work on him, John. So leave that to me.
We are probably making something there. Yeah.
Just send me a list of requirements, and I can probably implement that in one day. So
yeah.
Thomas is easy to implement.
Yeah, actually it is. Yeah.
I was looking at your webpage there, Thork Racing as well, João. It looks very great. You have a lot of stuff there for adventure riders. I saw good stuff from the best brands.
We try. We are lucky enough that we can choose the brands that we use personally and we personally like. So because our main product is the navigation, almost everything else is a complement. So we just try to bring brands that we use ourselves and we love. And
that's a little bit like we do as well. We also only use the brands that we quite enjoy ourselves, and
and it's great to work like that. It's really easy to sell something which you think it's the best.
Without a doubt. Okay, everyone.
All right.
Should we say goodbye to the audience
for tonight?
Thank you so much for everyone in the chat. Really appreciate the thing going on there. We've been reading, so thank you. And
thank you for having me then.
Thank you.
See you in the next one.
Bye.
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 Okay.